up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, Serendipity. Today I'm going to be reacting to UK gun laws explained. Honestly, I don't know anything really about UK gun laws other than they say that it is strict, but also do realize there's a good bit of UK gun owners, so I don't know how that all adds up. So obviously it can't be like crazy strict. I live in a rural or in the country area, so pretty much everybody that I know has a gun. I mean, I say everyone I know, but I don't have one. But everybody that I do know that has a gun, it's all because they all go hunting and they actually have a reason that they have the guns. So there's no crazy different types of guns. It's basically your standard gun to be able to go and hunt. Other than that, that's really all I know. So yeah, just let's get into this video.
Welcome to Adam Explains, where I break down tough topics and give you the facts. Before we begin, if I could take this time to request that you like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy this video. But without further ado, let's get into it. Guns are heavily restricted in the UK, but contrary to what many people believe, including many Brits, owning a firearm is not illegal. On average, Britain has 6.5 guns per 100 people, compared to the USA, which has 101 guns per 100 people, according to the Small Arms.
Honestly, that's a lot. More than I thought. 6.5 to every 100, that's more than I thought. I mean, it doesn't compare to America, but that's more than I thought.
Survey. Unlike the Americans with the Second Amendment, gun ownership in the UK is a privilege, not a right. Whether or not this is the right approach is not up for debate in this video.
It's similar. I mean, obviously not because it's in the Constitution, so it's technically a right. But your right can be taken away from you. I know, if you become a felon, your right can be taken away. So, in a way, it's kind of a privilege instead of a right. I guess, does that make sense? Because, it can't be taken away from you. It's not like you can't do nothing wrong well, you can do everything wrong and it won't be taken away. So, I guess it's similar, but it's obviously not the same, obviously.
Okay, but feel free to discuss it at length in the comments section. Firearms control in the UK is among the toughest in the world, and firearms offences continue to make up less than 0.2% of recorded crime. As you would expect, with such low gun ownership, gun-related deaths are incredibly rare. According to the Geneva Declaration of Armed Violence and Development, it stands at 1 death per million people per year. The UK population is around about 56 million people, and that only adds up to around 50 to 60 gun homicides annually. The rules around gun ownership can vary depending on where you are in the UK, particularly in Northern Ireland, where due to the Good Friday Agreement the laws are much less restrictive and over 5% of the population own a firearm, though these gun owners are not permitted to transport their weapons to mainland Britain. So who in general can obtain a firearm? To possess or purchase a firearm, an individual in the UK must be assessed as not posing a threat to public safety by the police, who act as the licensing authority. In addition, the individual must have a good reason to own a firearm and be able to demonstrate to the licensing authority that they require their firearm for work, sport or leisure on a regular legitimate basis, such as being a
Honestly, I feel like that's what should happen here. Is and they should have an actual officer be able to, do it. Because I know that there is background checks here. I mean, I've never bought a gun, so I don't know the full length of it. But I do know you do have background checks and stuff like that. But I feel like it would just be better to have an officer do it, so that I don't know, you could really assess the situation and give it to the right people. Yeah, because I feel like you can go to I mean, I don't know how it is with going to an actual gun store, but you can also get them at just an outdoor sports store here, and that's just some random guy. I think, anyway, I could be completely wrong. They might know what they're talking about. They could know what they're talking about, but I think that it's just, somebody just normally just clocked into their shift that can hand you over a gun. So that should happen here. And yeah, I think that would just be better having like an actual officer do the whole background check. Because I do know they do the background check, and I do know they ask you, like, what is it for? And, ask you questions to make sure that you're suitable to be able to have a firearm. But I feel like it should just be somebody that's actually an officer instead of just a random person giving it to a random person.
Member of a target shooting club. The reason the police are the licensing authority is because they possess local information that helps inform their judgment, and discretion over what constitutes a good reason is often left up to chief officers. To own a firearm in the UK, a person...
That would just make better, and then, like, instead of having, somebody that's just trying to, do their job, like, just clock in at a regular store, and they have to, and if they do have to deny somebody a gun, they can deny it and not have to, like, if it's an officer, they're most likely going to respect an officer before they respect just any employee. I think that would benefit here a lot to have an officer do it.
Must undergo a strict vetting procedure which includes interviews, visits to the person's property, criminal record checks, and references from friends. In addition, the applicant's GP may be contacted. Once a fire...
That's not bad to do, like, a house check, because you can... That's another one that I feel like would go. And another thing, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't go out to buy a gun if you had to do all these check-offs, because most people just wouldn't even be bothered with it unless they actually have a good reason to get it anyway. So honestly, I feel like that would help just everybody out more.
Firearm license is issued and paid for, the licensed individual must store their gun securely to avoid access by any unlicensed person. What firearms may be licensed in the UK? Unless declared specially dangerous by the Firearms Dangerous Air Weapons Rules of 1969, low-powered air weapons are generally not licensed in England and Wales. That means that if you purchase one of these, you do not require a licence in order to possess it. It is often said that handguns are outright banned, which is not strictly true. An individual may own long-barreled revolvers and long-barreled pistols, which are defined with a barrel of at least 30 centimetres in length, and that the...
I'm not gonna lie, if I would ever buy a gun, I don't know, there's something about, like, a long-barreled pistol. I think it's just because, like, movies, and one of my favorite shows is The Walking Dead, but that's not a good reason, and I feel like that's way too much money to blow for something that's just going to sit in a case. So, yeah.
Firearm is at least 60 centimetres long. Long-barreled single-shot firearms of any calibre and semi-automatic pistols of .22 rimfire calibre are permitted with a firearm certificate. Those that do not meet these criteria would be considered a pistol in UK law and are effectively banned, with the exception of muzzle-loading pistols, including muzzle-loading revolvers, which are permitted as long as they meet the criteria set forth in the regulations. All of the pistols are prohibited in Great Britain. Shotguns are legal on a shotgun certificate as long as they can't hold more than 3 shotgun shells, including the one in the chamber, if it's a pump action or semi-automatic shotgun. However, shotguns with a detachable magazine or larger fixed magazine are still permitted, but you'll have to obtain a Section 1.
I mean, so that's not bad. Like, you can still pretty much get everything. You just got to keep on getting, like, certificates and license for it. I do know for hunting, I believe, you can only have 3 shells. Because I think it's like you have to give the animal a chance to be able to escape. I don't know. I don't hunt, so I could be completely wrong. But I do know there's like a 3 shell like law as well.
Firearm certificate. Rifles are also permitted. These are defined by UK law as a rifled firearm with a barrel longer than 30 centimetres or 12 inches, and a total length of the rifle must be longer than 60 centimetres or 24 inches, and it must also not fall under the classification of a long barrel revolver or pistol. Rifles are permitted in any calibre size as long as it doesn't meet the definition of self-loading or pump action. Semi-automatic or pump action rifles are only permitted at a .22 rimfire calibre. What might surprise you is that under UK law, it is legal for you to own the following weaponry, with the correct licensing of course. The M&P 1522, which is based on the AR-15, H&K 416, semi-automatic 22 rimfire caliber MP5, Ruger 1022, Beretta ARX 160, and you can even own an Uzi as long as it's a 20.
Wow, like that's, I did not like the M&P and the Uzi. That's crazy. Wow.
22 rimfire caliber. So next time someone says that the UK banned guns, we didn't, but we do strongly restrict and control who can own firearms and what firearms can be owned. And generally speaking, culturally, we don't have the same affinity or interest in firearms as our American cousins. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave up to you.
I don't know, am I missing something? Because I honestly don't see where they're like strict. I feel like they kind of have the same guidelines as America, just a little bit more in depth and a little bit more like actually, you know, obeying by the rules, I guess. But I don't see where they restrict, because like they're not saying you can't have it, it's just like, hey, what are the reasons? I didn't know about the officer that, you know, they should do that, and I think that would help in a lot of different ways, and I think that would help just the person that is working that day. If they have to deny somebody from a firearm, like they don't have to deal with any type of confrontation, you know, because it's like, man, like I just work here, like why are you going after me? And I feel like just like having a cop do it, it would be just everything I feel like would just run smoother. I feel like it's a good idea to do a house visit, because it's like, let's see like where you live, like all of that just goes a long way. Yeah, I feel like it's just a lot of certificates and a lot of license, which I feel like if that happened here, it would stop a lot of people from going to buy it, because it would just like, it would be just too many steps and people would be just like, no, I don't want to do it. I think it would just be a better thing in the long run of things, you know? Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reaction, and like always, there's more to come, and I'll see you in the next one.